All right, so this is take two because I'm an idiot and I forgot to sync the audio from the microphone to the camera. Listen, guys, this is the first episode of my podcast. This is the inaugural podcast. And I'm really excited to start this. I don't even have a name for the podcast. So listen, if you guys are out there and you have some names in mind that you kind of want to start, or that you want to, maybe, give it to me so that we can start the podcast, I want you to drop them in the comments below and let me know, what you think I should name it. Right. So a few days ago, basically, I asked on my story, what are some things that you guys would want me to talk about? And you guys didn't know it was going to be for the podcast. However, now you know. And one of the questions that stuck out to me was by Stretch Life Visuals. Shout out to Stretch Life Visuals. And he said, what are 3 things that you can do to increase your revenue in 2022 or something like that, income or whatever? Listen, I'm not a financial advisor. However, I can give you advice on how to boss your life up, so stay tuned. Right now, these things are not going to be necessarily financial advice. However, these are the things that I did, that I implemented into my life to give me an advantage over my competitors. And it kind of put me in a position to where I was able to make more money by doing these things. And it had nothing really to even do with money. Right. So the number one thing, this is what I always tell everyone when they ask me, how can they grow in any aspect of their life? And that's to put God first. Right. You have to have a system of faith in place, because there are going to be a lot of trying times. There are going to be a lot of instances that you're going to have to overcome certain things, and you're going to have to rely on that system of faith. You're going to have to rely on God to be able to push you through those trying times. I can't tell you how many instances there have been where I've wanted to quit, where I've just like, dang, it's getting tough. And this is going to kind of lead into the second point that I have, which is that mindset shift that has to occur. Right. So I tell people all the time, and I get this from Nehemiah Davis. You guys might hear me reference him multiple times throughout the video, because he is definitely an inspiration to me. I look up to him. I really follow a lot of the things that he says. And you have to build your mindset and then build your skill set. Right. So even based off of the question alone, where he says in 2022, it kind of tells me that there's a mindset shift that has to take place. Right. So it's great that you want to increase your revenue. It's great that you want to increase your income. However, you have to have that mindset shift to where you don't necessarily put a timestamp on things, because yes, you don't want to take too long. However, what I found is that when I put a timestamp on the goals that I plan to achieve, it takes me longer to achieve them. For instance, when I got my first studio, I told myself that I would do it by the end of the year. I ended up getting my first studio in June. So, I figured out that every time that I would set a goal and I would put a timestamp on it, I would actually achieve that goal months prior, or way prior to when I anticipated that I would. And that's just a matter of working toward that goal every day, really being adamant about it and really pushing yourself to go after that goal and really go grab what you want. So, you have to there has to be that mindset shift that says, hey, I'm capable of doing more than I think that I can do. And that's really where a major thing has to happen. There's a lot of different mindset shifts that I could go over, but however, that's just one that I would definitely say to focus on, just based off of your question. Right. Another thing is, give up your plan B. Right. You have to give that plan B up. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this one. However, you just have to understand that it's either plan A or I'm just gonna reconfigure plan A. Like, there's no plan B. You have to have that back against, you have to put your own back against the wall sometimes. You know, there's a lot of times where I've had multiple opportunities to go and do other things. However, I told myself, you know, it has to work or it has to work. And, you know, that's another thing that I hear Neo say all the time. It has to work or it has to work. You can't give yourself any other option, because when you're put in those pressure situations where you have no other choice but to execute and to really bring that plan to fruition, you're gonna, like, you're just gonna have to. If you have to do it, you have to do it. Like, that's just the bottom line, right? So there's that, right? Now the next thing is to become a specialist. You have to figure out what it is that's gonna set you apart from everybody else in your industry, right? When I first started photography, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I didn't even know, like, I just bought a camera and I started, like, and, you know, my first camera was like $300. I started with it, started taking pictures of flowers, and then I was like, you know, I got to take pictures of people. And then once I started taking pictures of people, I started to learn, like, okay, everybody can take pictures of people. What's going to set me apart? Now, the industry that I started out in is graduation photography, and there was a lot of competition. There were a lot of guys doing it. And I said to myself, how am I going to separate myself from everyone that's at Florida A&M University taking graduation photos? Right? I really sat down and just asked myself, like, what can I do to just stand out? And what I did was I observed the market and I saw what everyone else was doing. And I said, dang, none of these guys are really like retouching their photos. No one is giving like that high-end edit. Everyone is just doing a simple, you know, color grade and, you know, send it back to their client. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, because that's perfectly fine for the market at that time. So I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna stand out. I'm going to be the guy that everyone is gonna come to when they want this certain style of edit. And man, let me tell you, I did that. People went crazy. Like, it didn't take a lot of time for me to become one of the top photographers in that area, because I was just so different. Like, it was something that people in that area had never seen before. They weren't exposed to that. And, you know, it's like being a kid in a candy store, or when you get that new toy, you just can't resist wanting to, like, you know, have that toy, play with that toy all the time. Like, you're just gonna always want to go after that, right? So the next thing, and this is like super important, this is something that I really buckled down on in 2021, and that's becoming more visible. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of how to become more visible, but what I do want you guys to know is that if they don't know you, they can't flow you, right? If they don't know you, they can't flow you, meaning you want to be in front of every single person that you can, like, not even in your area, not even in your state, not in your country, in the world. You want as many people to see you as possible, because think about it like this: if only 10 people know you, there are only 10 potential people that can book you, right? So if there are 100 people that know you, there are 100 people that can potentially book you. Now, we know that those are not how the statistics work. Typically, if 100 people know you, maybe 10% or less people will actually want to use your services, right? So if you work off of that statistic, then you know that if you want 300 people to book you for the year, that you need to have at least 3,000 people that are actively, like, they're in love with you. Like, these people really are a fan of what you do. They really just, you know, really buckle down, and they really pay attention to the things that you post, and they really want to work with you. So in order to, you know, expand your income, you want to expand your reach, and you want to become more visible in front of those people that are looking to spend their money, right? Now this one is super simple, and you're probably gonna be like, really, nigga? But you gotta raise your price. Now, the thing about raising your price, a lot of people are going to tell you raise your price. However, what they're not going to tell you is that once you raise your price, you have to raise your work ethic, and you have to raise the quality of the work that you're giving people. So you can go from 250 to 500, which is what I did. I doubled my price, and you basically just have to like give double of whatever you were given before. And you know, that just kind of follows what the 10x rule is. You know, if you want to 10x your income, you have to 10x your effort. You know what I'm saying? You always increase your target. You never reduce your target. You always increase your efforts. So if your target is 100,000 and you're making 50,000 right now, based off of that rule, you would know that you just have to increase your effort. Like, you have to 10x your effort, or you have to 2x your effort in this instance, right? Next thing, stop caring what people think. Stop caring what people think about you. I have a little book that I write all my notes in, because I like to document my journey. Knowing where I'm going, I like to document all the steps along so that I can be able to help people, you know, reach back once I get to where I'm at and help people. In that book, I wrote down F what they think, because that's really what it is. You have to really be so confident in yourself that you don't care what other people are thinking about you, your work, the content that you put out. Granted, you want to stay, you know, kind of within the guidelines of these social media platforms. For instance, you know, you can't say certain things on social media anymore. That's just the reality of it, right? But you have to stop caring what people think, and you have to go after your dreams relentlessly. Like, every day you have to be that person that just has that passion in you, that fire in you. Figure out your why and just go after it and chase it every day, right? And you have to do the things that other people are not willing to do, right? Everybody's not going to be willing to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get edits done. Everyone is not going to be willing to take certain jobs that, you know, may not be as desirable to other people. So you have to be that person. Not to say that you want to be the scrap, or you want to be the scrap keeper, or the crab that just takes any little thing, but you want to put yourself in a position to where, you know, you are even able to double your price. You want to have that high demand so that you can be able to double your price. You have to start somewhere, and typically that's at the bottom. So you start at the bottom, you know, you take as many jobs as you can for whatever the price is, and you just go from there. Right now, this is the first episode of my podcast, and I'm really grateful for you guys tuning in. If you could, I would definitely appreciate it if you guys could drop a comment below, like this video, share it, send it to your mama, your auntie, your uncle, whoever your favorite photographer is, whoever your least favorite photographer is. Send it to them and let them know that I'm dropping gems and I'm here to stay. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope the content was great, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bang.